Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Azukai here, bringing to you another video for Conqueror's Blade, published by Portals Interactive. This is going to be the update log for May 15th, and we have the normal maintenance time of 3 hours. So APAC is going to get May 15th, 1400 to 1700 hours UTC plus 8. EU and AMS May 15th, 700 to 1000 UTC plus 1. Maintenance is expected to last for 3 hours after maintenance. We will distribute 8,000 bronze coins, 300 honors, and 15 unit medals as compensation. Now, we do have the return of the All or Nothing event. Um, so, new challenges and free appearance rewards. Okay, so, what's this? Not a fan of tough fights. Stick with basic rewards. Feeling bold. Go for the big prize. The greater the challenge, the greater the glory. Accept the Champions Challenge. Complete all or nothing quests to earn a Proof of Hope and Proof of Courage and win limited time titles, frames, epic equipment, schematics, and more. Warlords can participate in the challenge via O activities. Only one. Ooh. Warlords can participate in the challenge via O activities. Only one quest can be accepted and completed per day. Interesting. The event offers two difficulty options, normal and hard. Accepting a quest consumes 10 or 20 proof of hope based on difficulty. Completing the normal quest grants 30 proof of hope, while the hard task grants 60 proof of hope and 1 proof of courage. If a quest is not completed, the consumed proof of hope will not be refunded. Quests will be forced refresh 0 hours server time each day. Unclaimed rewards will not be retained. Proof of Hope and Proof of Courage can be exchanged for rich rewards in the O Champion Vault. Okay, special title, Legendary Warrior 90 days. Frame, Champion Warriors 90 days. Season, Weapon Attire Selection Box. Epic Hero Schematic Selection Box. Treatises. Challenge period is May 15th after maintenance and May 29th before maintenance. The exchange period, May 15th after maintenance, June 5th before maintenance. So that's the frame. These are the weapons, so short sword and shield, dual blades, and short bow. Honestly, I do think the dual blades are the best looking one. Oh, that's a really, that's a really big change, but this is the weird thing. How do you get proof of hopes in the first place? Because if you require 10 proof of hope in order to get proof of hope, that's just very confusing. That means if you have no proof of hope that you get nothing? Interesting. Hmm. And it's a daily challenge? Hmm. Okay. Um. All or nothing event series returns with a new channel. Okay, so this is an add-on. New login event begins. Warriors can log in and complete cumulative check-ins, blah blah blah. Proof of hopes times 65 Lotus. So you're gonna get proof of hopes through this. Lotus water times 50. Greater scroll of glory times 5. Duration May 15th after maintenance, May 29th before maintenance. All or nothing returns for a limited time with fully upgraded rewards. In all or nothing modes, consecutive victories will earn you stars. However, a single defeat will reset your current star count. Warlords can use required star to exchange different treasure troves. 1 star iron treasure trove, 2 star silver, 3 star gold. Treasure trove reward update. The first time you open a gold treasure trove, you are guaranteed to receive a season weapon attire selection box, so that's nice. The weekly treasure trove limit has been adjusted to what? The weekly treasure trove limit has been adjusted to 20 times, resetting every Monday at 0 hours. All treasure troves now usually provide proof of hope opening and iron treasure trove grants 10 proof of hope open. Okay, that's interesting. All treasure troves now usually provide proof of hope opening, and iron treasure trove grants 10 proof of hope opening, and silver treasure trove grants 30, while a gold treasure trove grants 60 proof of hope. Proof of hope can be exchanged for valuable rewards in the O Champion Vault. Interesting. So what I think this is saying, so normally you're supposed to only be able to open 3 chests a week. Now it's saying you can open 20, if my understanding is correct. Resets on Monday. Otherwise, it would just be absolutely horrid if you're only limited to 20 battles. Not that like that's not a lot of battles actually. I mean, like I could play like 20 in a day if I had like 8 hours, of course. Actually, you don't even need 8 hours. So that's interesting. This all or nothing mode follows the leadership return rules. Defeated units will not return leadership, while retreating returns 50% of remaining units leadership. All units are available except from those from the Sealer season, Chevaliers, and Falconetti Gunners. I really do think that they need to rework Chevaliers. Falconetti Gunners being banned still, but the Lions Roar crew being allowed is yeah, the Lions Roar crew still being allowed while the Falconetti Gunners are being banned is really, really annoying. Because the only reason why the Falconetti Gunners were banned in the first place is because people were using them to shoot down towers. But you can use the Lions Roar crew to do the exact same thing. All equipment, units, and artilleries are provided by the systems. Heroes' equipment in this mode are reforged. All warlords have 1,800 leadership. Attackers can deploy 2 rare artilleries, and defenders can deploy 1 rare artillery. Season limit have no effect. Up to 5-star units may be deployed. Up to 3 players teams are allowed. Each player may deploy a maximum of 3 cavalry units. As much as I do not agree with any kind of limitations, I do hate cavalry. What I'm going to say, I don't, I don't think this should be necessary if you balance your game properly. Unfortunately, because they don't balance their game properly, they need to put this in. That also being said, I'm not excited to see Dagger Rank Lancers come out in droves when I play All or Nothing. The flag capture can only be interrupted by heroes. That's a change that I think should hit Siege and stuff. That that would be a massive change if it hit like ranked. Units will no longer interrupt caps every time a hero respawns or is switched at the every time a unit respawns or is switched at a supply point. It gains 30% movement speed for 8 seconds. Honestly, think I think this should be disabled for cavalry. If I was to be honest, otherwise just remove this in its entirety. I think it's just it favors fast moving units, and cavalry are pretty much the fastest in the game. I'm pretty sure they're the fastest in the game. Um, yeah. So, yeah, these two things just seem like nonsense to me. Or if they just seem like things that just cause more. Well, this one causes more problems than you think because of cavalry. This one tries to limit cavalry, but it's just like if you balanced your game properly, you wouldn't have this. You wouldn't have to have this. Okay, special restrictions. Quests progress gained from this mode will be halved. Only affected quests based on total accumulations, such as accumulate 2,000 troops kill score in any field battle or siege battle, and quests based on match counts, such as participate in 5 PvP matches, are not affected. Oh my goodness, what is wrong? My voice wasn't like this. Is it the position? May 15 after maintenance to May 29 before maintenance, Warlords can check the exact event time in-game via J events. Now we have the Doctrine Pool rotation. Hedge Pikes is now available in War Scholar. The drop rate of Epic Doctrines for Polearm Infantry has been increased May 15th to May 29th before maintenance, after maintenance, before maintenance. So we have the attire chest rotation, gilded scale attire chest, the deadly art attire chest, and the silver winged attire chest are now available. So we have the Snake's Fortune, which is the legendary musket, legendary musket attire Snake's Fortune, legendary glaive Yin Yang Ink, and the legendary hero attire Spring Jade Embrace. I still think that the legendary glaive one is really good looking. Like it is pretty much I would think it's still the best out of all of the attires for legendary weapons, that is. Um, the legendary uh, shield and spear one, it's got a lot of good things. Unfortunately, it's just as a standalone, it's not great in the medieval theme. It's way too fantasy. That being said, I do like this attire as well. The silver blossom. Absolutely don't like the musket one. The musket one looks like the musket one has a lot of firework effects, so it's like a Chinese New Year thing. It feels like a gimmick. It feels like a gimmick attire, and it doesn't feel like a legendary attire kind of thing. But then again, I mean, like, legendary attires in CB are all the ones with special effects and stuff. So, I mean, I don't feel like the theme fits the game. It kind of like a gimmick. Basically a gimmick attire to me, similar to how a lot of the festive ones are. Christmas ones in particular are gimmick attires to me, and I don't like it. Don't like it at all. Attire chest exchange store update. We have the legendary musket attire Snake's Fortune 300 curios. May 15th after maintenance, May 29th before maintenance. Alrighty, so I was hoping that they didn't push this through straight away, but apparently they did. I do think um, I'll kind of give a brief rundown of what I think has happened to each of these units. So, briefly, Iron Cap Swordsman, Iron Cap Charge, Armor Piercing Coefficient 100% to 150%, Base Block Breaking Effect from 100 to 300. Iron Cap Swordsman deals a bit more damage against high armored targets, so you should see around roughly a 50% increase in like total damage when you scale up the armor and stuff. Could be more, could be less, depending on if the target has low armor values or really high armor values. The block breaking effect going from 100 to 300 is almost unnoticeable. There is practically no difference. There's practically no difference to the change, and um, you're actually more likely. The instant block break chance is still more likely to be effective than the native base block breaking effect, which I didn't even realize was so low. 100 is really low. Um, so changing it to 300, definitely not high enough in hindsight. You could see much greater impact once you add in the other block breaking one. I think it adds like 250 extra block breaking. and the +1 from stamina. So all in all, once you have that in, you could see some massive changes into the block breaking effect. But um, just from like base level, it's almost unnoticeable, and that's kind of hilarious to me. But that's just how my testing just ended up being. Rattan Round Shield and Rattan Pikeman. God, I hate this. Poison weapon. So they used the wrong name here, by the way. This refers to the rattan poison in the unit masteries for both rattan round shields and the rattan pikemans. This does not refer to the poisoned weapon unit trait, which is only present on the rattan pikemans. I mean, it's also present on the rattan marksmen and the rattan vipers, and I believe the rattan rangers. So every other rattan unit except the rattan round shields, which is absolutely hilarious. But yes, the weapon poison, as written, as what is referred to here, is the rattan poison from the unit mastery. So they changed the spread radius from 3 to 4 meters. The spread affects base bleed damage per second 100 to 250. Now, I want to make this very clear. You and anyone else that actually even understands how broken the Rattan series is, or at least the Rattan Pikemans are, should understand that this change is insanity. Now, I understand that, like, maybe if people didn't know, we wouldn't have to suffer the OPness. It is better to fix things than it is to leave them as they are. I will tell you right now, there are several things that I did discover or relearned. Now, previously, I did suspect that the rattan poison stacked natively, meaning that it had a stack greater than 1. Turns out it has 2. It stacks twice. This is a problem because 250 goes to 500. Now, the real problem comes in the form of the rattan poison doctrine, or uh, well, the rattan poison doctrine is very OP in this case. The thing about the rattan poison doctrine is that for some reason the increase in poison damage doesn't work on the rattan poison, or in this case, what's referred to as weapon poison, but the stacking does. That also being said, it goes from 250 per stack for 4 times to 1,000. Now, this next part is also just really, 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 really bad because the rattan pikeman has a veterancy node that makes their poison stack up to 3 times. Now, this normally is supposed to only refer to their poison weapon thing, but I did suspect this. I just couldn't notice it because the numbers were just too similar. Turns out it also affects the rattan poison. That means it stacks up to 3 times natively on the rattan pikemans, and then when you add the rattan poison doctrine, it can go up to 5 times. That means you have 120, sorry, 1,250 poison damage per second with the rattan pikemans. Now, 1,000 poison damage is a lot for either of these units. Do mind, these do not care for armor values nor damage reduction values. As far as I understand, there is nothing in this game that can reduce the poison damage of uh well, just in general. and bleed damage. There's nothing that can reduce bleed damage or the poison damage. Uh, Fire damage can be reduced by unit trains, but just let me make this clear. For at least until the devs adjust this, do not fight the rattan pikemen. Do not fight the rattan round shields unless you're using a unit that can one-shot the entire thing, or you're using fire, because these guys will kill you no matter how strong your unit is. They will beat any cannon fodder troops, except for the ones that uses fire. I'm only thinking of Wu Xing at this point. But even then, I'm pretty sure the rattan pikemen and the rattan round shields can do very, very well against them. Mostly because like one like a couple of poison stacks will just instantly be like whole unit just dies for some reason. And I cannot stress this enough. If you're using like really strong units, if you see rattans at all, don't fight them. Your your Spartans also won't heal faster than um actually how much is 4%? Oh man, 4% of 16,000. Okay, so it's 640. So maybe you can out heal the poison if you're really, 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 really focused on it. But yeah, um I I suggested that they did not implement this, but they ended up implementing it. So again, abuse this while you can. I think this is going to be out of hell for infantry. Cavalry is going to have a field day. Again, like these two units do nothing. Like do like they don't have anti-cavalry capabilities. If your cavalry mill around and get stuck in between these guys, sure, they'll still wipe. Cavalry will still wipe these guys out easily. Squires. During Shield Rush and Sprint Strike, armor piercing coefficient goes from 125 to 200. Damage coefficient goes from 100% to 200%. After Shield Rush and Sprint Strike ends, armor piercing of the follow-up attack is 100% to 200%. Now, let me kind of explain what I've felt on the PTL. The armor coefficient definitely is changed. It is a massive difference because squires have such a low armor piercing value in the first place. So this is like an insane buff. The damage coefficient one doesn't seem to have gone through correctly. Now, what I mean by that is I only see roughly around about a 400 point difference. If Squires dealt somewhere around the, let's say, 2.5, they're hitting almost 3,000. The damage is good at 3,000, but it's not indicative of what I would suspect from a coefficient change from 100% to 200%. Now, let me make this clear. Maybe they had intended it, or maybe the damage coefficient they're changing only results in around about a 400 point difference. Just understand that the damage increase is not as high as I was suspecting, and it's in retrospect probably only a roughly around about a 20% increase in damage. Roughly. But again, I hope, well, more like a 16%, not even 20%. I do think that they're that this was really good. Oh, I just realized something. Um, they took away the attack speed. They took away the attack speed. I'm really pissed about that actually. That was actually really good. The reduction in attack speed made them look like they were fighting. Like it was one of the more interesting changes. Anyway, this armor piercing up to follow up attack, I could not notice a difference. Absolutely could not notice a difference. I don't think this is working. I don't think, or the follow up attack restriction is only a single attack, which um I honestly could not tell you if it was working or not. Now, from different from the PTRs, just really quickly, they had a attack interval change of 20%. So that means the interval between attacks was reduced by 20%. That means that was a 20 that technically should have resulted in a 25% attack speed increase. They've removed that, and that was a really good change that made Squires really strong. Unfortunately, they got rid of it, which I don't know why, because I felt like Squires I felt like Squires were not strong enough, or are not strong enough. But I guess that's that. Javelin Militia. Charge cooldown goes from 35 seconds to 20 seconds. Charge Javelin armor piercing coefficient goes from 225 to damage coefficient of 200 to 220. 250. So both the damage coefficient and the armor piercing coefficient goes from 200 to 250. Really strong buff for the Javelin throwers. Unfortunately, Javelin Militias are trash in melee. Still haven't fixed the honor tree nodes. These guys are supposed to deal 40% extra melee damage from their unit tree nodes. That still hasn't been fixed. I I put this as an issue, and they still refuse to fix this, and they still only do 900 damage in melee. And that's against units with low armor. I really, I'm really annoyed. I'm really annoyed that, like, they doubling down on the javelins, even though they are javelin militia. It's just, come on. Anyway, um, not bad. Changes to the javelin militia. Again, they're pretty cheap, and they're a tier 2 unit, but their javelins in this case are pretty strong. Would not want to eat these javelins at all, and um, I'm honestly probably biased against these units, and it's just like I'd buff them even more just for their melee capabilities, because what you really want to do is never actually let them hit their charge, only throw javelins, so you always kind of short charge them. But yeah, that's that. Good change, big increase, but the actual damage output is not exactly in this case 25%. It's closer to 20%. I think that has to do with some uh, innate things. Prefecture guards, just a balanced adjustment. Base health got increased by a little bit. Armor piercing and slashing damage, nothing too wild. It did result in like their stats being really, really strong. Prefecture guards are nominally these like one of the stronger tier threes. I think they only did this because they were getting outcompeted by condottieri, who are faster, who are more burst orientated, even though prefecture guards are very burst orientated as well. Condottieri is just way stronger now because they no longer have their collision issue. Um, and I said this before, you remove the collision from condottieri and they would easily beat up prefectures. And not only did the condottieri get like a +1, they also got their collision removed. And so absolutely not a surprise that they're just chomping down on prefecture guards and stuff. Not saying that prefecture guards are weak, but the fight between condottieri and prefecture guards, I'm gonna say condottieri are beating the prefecture guards, even though the prefecture guards in this case has a um, is technically an anti-tier 3 unit because they have bonuses versus tier 3 units. They take 300 less damage and deal 300 more damage to tier 3 units plus polearm units. So there's that. Um, Continuing on, we also have Prefecture Pikemen. Base piercing damage goes from 1100 1147 to 1264. Last stand piercing damage bonus goes from 300 to 500. No way out piercing damage and all defense bonuses 300 to 500. The extra defenses is mint. Absolutely mint. It's so good that you're almost able to survive after charging and get that extra follow-up attack in. Almost. Again, meta units will still crump your unit into oblivion, and it's really slow. The follow-up attack is actually really slow. Not to say that their charge in the first place, that hits for like 8,000, 8,500 damage, not to mention they hit 2 targets. There's still a little bit of a hitbox issue. Nevertheless, if you don't have a shield and you don't block it, you don't want to be in the way of a CC immune charge like this. But still, Prefecture Pikemen have very little ability to break through block, so these guys will still be on the back burner and not very useful. They're super niche and will be really useful against units that don't have block. Other than that, like, um, it's, I mean, yeah, Prefecture Pikemen just don't work as they are. They're too slow to get out, and once they're in, they're a bit of a hit or miss. So really think that they should have buffed them more, but I guess the only thing that they changed from the PTR was they got rid of the Squire's attack interval buff, which again I'm really sad that they did because I really wanted Squires to be good. Um, I used to use the entire Chivalry series. I used to have a warband of just the Spear Sergeants, Men-at-Arms, and the Squires. I used to use those 3 units constantly. Um, not that like I had very much success with it. I just used that warband a lot. A leadership adjustment change. I'll just scroll really slowly. Again, I don't mean to disregard leadership as a balancing point. I just don't think it works in the way that see the developers want it to. Because leadership is not indicative of the strength of the unit, so there's no reason for these leadership values. The leadership values make no sense because they're not indicative of the strength of the unit, and more of a restriction on the units that you choose to use. So if you were to choose units based on their performance, their leadership just ends up being a non-factor. The only time it really does become a big factor is when it takes a big chunk out of your leadership. So as these leadership values get lower, you just end up choosing units that have a very high performance rating. And again, you're just going to end up with very niche units that has strength that are applicable in more situations than not. While we still have OP tier 5s and tier 4s, so yeah. Um, in general, there's just a lot of these changes I don't like either. I don't know why they rate the Pike Militia so low, like 95 against stuff like Javeliniers, Javelin Militia, even the Javelin Spearmen. Like, out of everything, the Pike Militia against Javelin Spearmen, like, there's no way Javelin Spearmen should cost less than Javelin Militia. I mean, Demez Spearmen, it costs 90 now. Pike Militia costs 95. There's no way anyone in their right mind would choose Pike Militia over Demez Spearmen for the pure fact that Demez Spearmen is just way better than Pike Militia. The only reason you would ever pick Pike Militia is that if you're facing off against cavalry exclusively. Other than that, um, they're not worth bringing, even against same units, because the Demez Spearmen are so strong that they just outvalue the Pike Militia. But of course, I rate the javelin units really high, mostly because of just like they're supposed to be. They have very powerful abilities of being able to throw javelins, so that's like unmatched in the first place. I get it that their melee capabilities are zilch, but um, you should not underestimate the javelin capabilities. Like, you give these guys enough time, these guys will rack up kills. I'm not even joking. Even right now, the Javelin Militia provides good damage and CC. Always one of the funniest things that I've always one of the funniest things that I think most people don't know, because no one uses these, by the way. But the Javelin Militias, ja- when they throw javelins in the charge, each of those javelins causes a throw. It causes the throw CC, which is absolutely nuts. Um, so yeah, I mean, again, like these guys are really like, if anything, I'd push these Pike Militia down to 80 at the very least. I don't know why they set it so high. Um, of course, the Rattan Pikemen versus the Rattan Round Shields, absolute ludicrous change because the Rattan Pikemen versus the Rattan Round Shields. Very similar units, by the way. One's just a buckler unit, one's a polearm unit. There is absolutely no strategic value of having those damn shields at at like at such a low level. Your cannon fodder, your your shield, the your inability to attack most of the time is what sets these round shields down. The Rattan Pikemen also have an innate poison, so like if you had formations where you could utilize the shields more, sure, sure. You don't though. You get shot by anything, and your rattan round shields start taking damage like that. Probably not as much as rattan pikemen, but the amount of times they actually block something is so minuscule that you wonder why you even chose the rattan round shields. That, and they're really fast. Like the rattan round shields are probably one of the fastest units, one of the fastest infantry units you can get. But yeah, um, I didn't. Those are like the two that I really just did not like in terms of changes. And of course, like I could go on about like the units that already have masteries being like leadership changes. units without mastery, units with masteries. There's just such a divide right now. So unless every single unit has masteries, and they need to speed this up, by the way, um, it is meaningless to compare units with mastery versus units without mastery. Also, the Black Dragon series plus the Sea Stag Death Dealers. These are mercenary units that have such low health, but have stats that just like they have high stats for their leadership costs, but they have such low health that all of these units need to get almost double the amount of health to even be worth the current leadership they're going to get. Black Dragon Pikeman again supposed to be a discount, um, the discount prefecture, the prefecture one, prefecture pikeman. Black Dragon Spearman, like the the sheer difference between both the Spear Militia and the Iron Cap Spearmen, like the funny thing is that they actually changed the Spear Militia to be lower. I mean, to be higher than the Black Dragon Spearmen now, which is hilarious because the Black Dragon Spearmen should have technically retained stats. Oh, actually, no. With Mastery now, the Black Dragon Spearmen are actually way weaker in like some stats areas besides health. Besides health, like all of these mercenary ones have less health for absolutely no reason. Um, at this point, absolutely no reason. I understood it from like a mercenary kind of thing, but like, ugh. The CSAG death dealers as well. These guys are worse than the Ironcap Arquebusiers, and like it's so bad. It's so bad. I don't even think they're worth the 60. They should have been pushed down with the Black Dragon Archers to 40. But in this case, Black Dragon Archers are actually better than the Levy Bowmen and the Archer Militias in this case, which is hilarious. I just think like I, fi- I find that like the fact that they refuse to kind of like actually change these units to be good or like um buff these units is hilarious because these units are probably because these are premium units, by the way. You can buy them with silver, but it takes so long to buy them with silver. Each of these units are super expensive to purchase. Like I think these are $50 each, except for the Black Dragon Archers, which is the only one that you can get for like $20. But these four are like $50 each, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that like these guys do not have any utility at all. Besides the fact that they don't have kits. They don't cost anything when they die. Man, I'm ranting like crazy right now. I'm just really upset because the balance changes for this week just upset me. Mainly because the Ratans one went through, and all of this leadership nonsense just irks me. Other bug fixes and optimization. Fix an occasional layering issue on the house invitation interface. Fix an occasional abnormal display issue with new player guide prompts. Fix an issue where the background image occasionally failed to load on the Battle Pass screen. Fix an issue where the background image occasionally failed to load on the Leave Thief screen. Fix an issue where weekly quests occasionally did not refresh after purchasing the premium account. Fix a data inconsistency issue between house reports and personal report data in Territory Wars Battle Port. Optimize the trigger logic for prompts in the evolving divine attire screen. Optimize the pop-up message logic that appears when adjusting frame rate settings in display settings, which auto disables vertical sync. Okay, so that's that. well, I just hope you're excited for just a Rattan Fest. Otherwise, like, really funny if you want to just go against the grain. Just use units that have fire, and um, that it's going to be a really fun few like it's going to be a really fun few days as the Rattans are going to just the take over the game. I'm pretty sure they're going to take over the game. You could easily you could easily just have burst style units that just completely cave in the Rattans, but at some point, like in the infantry at least, against cavalry, they have no limit. They have no practical limit. But you can actually have too many units for things like Wu Wei to kill, and just a couple of hits, and all of a sudden you're bleeding for 1,000 damage for 5 seconds, and there goes half your health. If you're fighting for more than 5 seconds, you're dead. It's going to be bad, especially for heroes as well. Um, it's already really notorious for rattan pikemen. Rattan roundshields not so much, but rattan pikemans particularly have a really good time at just touching the hero a couple of times, and all of a sudden they're dead because the poison damage just stacks up. I've been I've been done in by rattan pikemans myself quite a few times. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But other than that, my name's Atsuke. Have a nice day. Bye for now.